Hello, League. Welcome to the Week 8 recap. Happy Halloween. I am not dressed like a clown, but I feel like one because I watched the New York Jets and the New York Giants play what they called a football game on Sunday. I know many of you subjected yourself to that. Luckily, I am happy to report that this league actually had a pretty good week. Yes, I know some of you are in disbelief. Gaz, how could I have a good week? Dylan, no way I had a good week. Luke, not possible for me to have a good week. All understood. But this week, I'm telling you, it was actually not that bad around the association. So we start with we're going to go to our lowest scoring team, which does happen to be our good friend Dylan AR-15. He falls to 1-7. He's in 12th place. But Christopher Michael Gazzaro, Laporta Patti, 4-4, advances to 5th place. He had 100.1 points scored. Lamar did nothing, 11 or 12. But CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee's nuts, 29 points. That'll do, donkey. Brees Hall, invisible except for one play when the Giants fell asleep, but he'll take it. Gaz had really three guys, and Sam Laporta with 11.7. Right there, that's, 55 of his 100. Everybody else did okay, and he gets to 100 points. Kudos to Gaz. And I want to give congratulations to Dylan. He put up 79. Josh Reynolds got negative 0.7. Dalton Schultz got 0.5, and he still almost put up 80. And he starts Jordan Love, for God's sake. So, 79 points, that's okay. Dill right now is just trying to not pay for the catering next year. I get that. We all do. We've all been there. You lose Nick Chubb, you lose everything. But kudos to him for putting up 79. It was a pretty decent week. And again, Gaz advances to 4-4. He's in 5th place, and Dylan falls to 12th again. He's 1-7. Next up, we have Rod Enrico versus the Blair Witch Project. Rod Enrico, Tom, comes out victorious with 91.86 points. He has 6-2 record. Kyle falls to 4-4. Only scored 84 points. He is in 4th place. Now, Tom's 91 was a pretty, no superstar led, but just a solid all-around effort. 91, really 92 points. Tua turned the ball over. Just kidding. 22.7 points. Played pretty well against Miami. Scary Terry with 12.3. Amari Cooper showed up. Kendrick Bourne got a touchdown towards ACL, though, RIP. Jonathan Taylor's been fine. Tony Pollard hasn't been great, but he feels like he's going to turn the corner soon. Harrison Butker doing his thing. Kelsey, down game, but guess what? Everybody in that Chiefs offense was down. I don't know what the fuck that was. Denver's the worst defense in football. I was on the Broncos, though. Happy to report. So 91 for Tom. You take that and run. Kyle, 84. He had a couple decent weeks. He had a couple of duds, and I got to call out Davante Adams. I don't know what to do at this point. Davante Adams a few weeks ago was startable. Not just startable, he was good. He was, 6.6, whatever, 14.4, 29.2, 7.5 through his first 4 weeks. You're like, all right, he's fine. And then it's just been awful. 45 yards, 29 yards, 57 yards, 11 yards. Like, what in God's name happened to this guy? I hope he's traded in the next hour and 39 minutes, but to be determined. Derrick Henry did fine. Raheem Mostert did fine. TJ Hawkinson did fine. Kyle didn't have a horrible week. If Davante Adams literally plays, he probably wins. Tough week. CJ Stroud has come back down to earth a bit. Only 140 passing yards against that Carolina defense. That's, less than ideal. Starting a rookie quarterback on the road in fantasy, less than ideal. But, the Blair Witch Project, he's going to try and find a way to summon up his Halloween spirits and advance to 5-4 next week. I'm sure you will hear that in the recap. I'm sorry, in the preview, but kudos to Tom for the win, a much-needed win. Now we go to a game that I think many of us were thinking may not have been as close as we originally intended. Pat McCann, advances to 4-4. He's in 8th place with 109.2 points. And Sally Stubbs, Salvatore the Dinosaur, falls to 2-6. He's in 11th place with 94.6 points scored. Pat had a really solid week. Joe Burrow is officially back. A.J. Brown, every fucking week, this guy's got 125 yards. Every week. He's a machine. Christian Kirk, 4.6. That'll do. Keenan Allen, 6.9. Not ideal, but, that was a negative game script for Keenan Allen in the sense that they were up by so much on the horrific Bears who just traded a second-round pick for a defensive end who has to get paid in the end of the – I can go on and on. Bijan Robinson actually got on the field, so congrats to Pat on that, 12.2. 109 points. It was really A.J. Brown and Joe Burrow got him 52. Everybody else did fine. Rachaad White's been fine. and Pat, gets his points. And, Sal, 94.6, it's not a bad week. Gino's been kind of an underwhelming fantasy quarterback, 15.8 this week. DJ Moore, outside of that one blow-up week, has been fine, I would say. Christian Watson has just been terrible for Sal. I mean, he'd be the first one to fucking tell you. It's been a disaster. He needs him to get going. But the problem is Jordan Love is ass. So I don't know if that's happening. Josh Jacobs did show up, though. Josh McDaniels woke up on one drive last night. It was like, maybe I should give the ball to the, sixth or seventh best running back in football. After that, he went back into his cocoon. Saquon had 128 rushing yards on what I'm not even joking, I think was like 40 total touches. Tommy DeVito. I don't even want to talk about that game. Nobody won that game. Mark Andrews, 40 yards and a touchdown. Very solid for Salvatore. Not a bad week for Sal. 94.6. You're usually in it at 94.6. It's just tough. He had a couple of guys put up duds. I think Sal's going to, start to turn the corner a little bit here, but he's got to start getting something from Christian Watson. Next, we'll go to a matchup of what was first place versus second place. I am Knuff. Jean Touillet-Mbeg is 7-1 in first place. He beats me with 105.1 points. I'm 5-3. Fall to third. My team, Cooper Kupp's been pretty bad the last 2 weeks. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Aaron Jones, I can't play Packers anymore. Yeah, I'm with you, Sal. I cannot play them anymore. They're horrible. Goddard had a quiet week. I mean, I put up 100 points and I lost. It happens. Tui, on the other hand, this is vintage item bag here. Tui has several guys that are average in Deonta Foreman and Jacoby Myers 2 nights ago. But then he has Travis Etienne, Taysom Hill, and Tyreek Hill, the Hill guys, put up fucking 60-something points. Matt Stafford didn't even play that well. Tui got 105, and it was enough. I tipped my cap. He's finding ways to win. Etienne and Hill are like a guaranteed 40 points every week. So, like, Tui's basically telling the rest of his team, can the other 9 of you, manage to get 65 points, which they have been able to do. Deontay Johnson had a pretty good week. Pittsburgh D was a good play by him. And you're able to overcome a Stafford leaving in the middle of the game thing. And kudos to Tui, 105 points. He's in first place. Well-deserved. He will, spoiler alert, he will be very high on the power rankings list. Next, we go to what was actually kind of a blowout, even though it wasn't at the time. Wally Balls, Matt Stokes is 4-4. He's in sixth place, put up 117 points, and he won. I finally picked against Matt, and he won. I'm sure he's very happy to hear this. Free Chiefsaholic, on the other hand, Luke Bonomo falls to 3-5. He's in 10th place with 82.3 points. I'll start with Luke's team. Luke had 42 plus 13, 55, 56-ish points. Luke had 56 points from Jalen Hurts, Jamar Chase, and Younghoe Koo. The rest of his team managed 26 points. That's with Darrell Henderson getting 8.5. So the rest of his team, really, other than those 4 guys, the rest of his team managed 17 points. So terrible. And he'd be the first one to fucking tell you, trust me. Luke is not afraid to say what his team is. Tank Dell with a down game. I do think, though, Rushy is definitely trending in the right direction. Again, nobody played well in that Chiefs game. Jamar Chase is definitely trending in the right direction. Hurts is 25 points a game. You know that. Bamondre is Bamondre. That's what Luke's looking back at right now, being like, how the fuck did I draft this guy? Maybe he's got a few guys on his bench, but I don't know if he's going to have enough to fill the void. If the running back comes, he's got David Montgomery, so he is dealing with an injury. I have to point that out. But 82 points, and his top dogs, which are Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts, and Younghoe Koo, played well. So it's tough. It's tough to put up an 82 spot there. Stokes, on the other hand, 24 points from that fraud Herbert. Look, Herbert had a great game. That was an easy Chargers minus 8.5. The Bears stink. They stink. Like yesterday's left outside mac and cheese, they stink. Devonta Smith showed up. He's Mr. Jekyll and Hyde. Or Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, whatever the fuck it is. Devonta Smith, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Amon-Ra had a good game. Christian McCaffrey scored a touchdown. Water is wet. Grass is green. Isaiah Pacheco kind of coming back to earth, but again, caveat for all Chiefs players, that game was fucking weird. He's got Kincaid, who had a good week. I mean, Stokes had 117. He had a good week. He had nobody, other than Pacheco and the San Fran D, nobody get below 9 points. You're going to win every week like that. So kudos to him for putting up $117. And then last but not least, we're going to go do the matchup that came down to last night. Somewhat shocking. Pukuka Matata, Andy Unchained, advances to 4-4. He's in ninth place with 92.38 points versus Skinny Kyle Mike Russell, who falls to 4-4 and is in seventh place. Skinny Kyle put up 83.4 points. Mahomes, 7.6. I mean, that's the game right there. Mahomes is a normal game. He wins, but he didn't. Olave with only 46. George Pickens with 8.2. Austin Eckler had 16. He showed out. George Kittle came back, 14.9. You know, this is just vintage. If Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes, and if he gets a little bit more from the normally higher Ken Walker, this is a 100-point week for Russell. So nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be scared of. I think he'll be fine. But this week, it just wasn't for him. And on the flip side, for Andy Unchained, it was his week. 32 points from Sam Howell. Puka Nacua with 4.3. Coming back to earth a little bit. He might be injured. Garrett Wilson somehow had 100 yards receiving. I don't know how that happened. Jahmyr Gibbs, though, he's finally arrived. I mean, that if Jahmyr Gibbs is officially here, Andy's team is actually like not ass. It's passable. He needs more from Madison. Darren Waller's unplayable. He just never plays, and when he does, he gets hurt. So he's got enough though right now to contend with his 92.38. Trey McBride might be a sneaky tight end guy. So Andy has, and Kyler Murray's coming back. So I know Hal played really well. He's going to be tough to bench Hal in some certain situations, but T. Higgins showed a pulse, finally. It was a good week for Andy. Again, he advances to 4-4, and Russell falls to 4-4. So there you have it. Your winners are Jean Tui, Andy, Wally Balls, Matt Stokes, Burr, Pat McCann, Christopher Michael, and Tom Gorman. Tom Gorman keeps winning, man. I keep picking against him. He keeps winning. That's what else is new. Former champion. Knows what he's doing. So I wish everybody a good week. This was a little bit of a longer video, but there was a lot to go over in this league. A lot of good weeks. Nobody in the 60s. You know, I'm used to that here. And yeah, I wish everybody a happy Halloween. I don't really have a play for you tonight. I would say Knicks money line, but you got to lay a little bit of wood. So yeah, you know, good luck. Whatever you decide to bet on, even you, Christopher Michael. I hope there's been no trades that happen that affect your team. Maybe Jordan Addison getting a quarterback, it sounds like. We'll see what happens.